You're on mute.
Was I on mute the whole time?
Yes.
Oh, oops.
It's okay. Welcome. Thanks.
Yeah. Morning. All right. Welcome.
Good morning, Rabbi.
I apologize. We're in the middle of we're smack in the middle, so we're discussing that different days, different shira. But at the point of Shabbos, Yimotu Yidachin. If Shabbos comes out one of those days, then you don't say the last one. Well, what do you mean? If Shabbos comes out on the third day, why you don't say the last one? Because everything gets pushed off. But what's the point? You know, you basically almost like the way we do like slichos, right? Like whenever Shabbos is, you just keep on continuing, you know, Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, right? You go on like that. So therefore, they could do 1, 2 Shabbos, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? They don't do 1, 2 Shabbos, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So they skip the last one. The last one's always pushed off. But what do you see from there? You see from there that you only do there's only one shira, right? There's only one tkiyos, right? There's only one set that's done for the Musaf, even though there's multiple. There's Chol Moed and there's Shabbos. And how does one remember the order of these of the shira? So Rav Sachar Manach Bahu Simana. So he took all the first letters. Hum Bahai, I guess they're Hum Bahai and Rav Papa Manach Bahu Simana Hum Havi. Right, so he actually switched around days. The last, the hay and the bays. I guess days 6 and 7. Right, and the simanach, and the way to remember that is Ambahua the Sifri. Right, in other words, over there that the Abua the Sifri is basically the school teachers' children. Right, those who are out in the I guess sort of Safra, I guess the way he remembered his was Humbahai, similar to Humbahad the Sifri, right? And Tiyufta, but nevertheless, what's the point? Tiyufta, the Rabbi Acha Bar Chanis, who says there's multiple, and over here we see it's pushed off. Tiyufta, yes, it is a deed akasha.
The second Tiyufta?
Yes.
It's not normal.
They're the pounding way at him, right? So the Gemara asks, well, it's not normal. Asi says it's not normal. But the Gemara says, why are we asking Rav Acha? Right? He brought a pasuk, he brought a price. He seemed to have good sources, right? So Amravina loymar shemarichim betekiyos. That which it says, right? Rav Acha's his source, right? That he brought yesterday, right? The source that we saw, that didn't tell you there are multiple tekiyos. That just told you that marichim betekiyos. Right? And as you make them longer, since there's more musafin, you make it longer so it stretches, so it goes throughout the time of all the musafin. And Rabban de Kisar Mishmei de Rabacha Amri Lamashim. But during, I guess it was accompanying the nisachim of the karbanos, of the libations, of what was going on with the musafin. And then so he says, "Lamar Shamar of a Taikin." Right? So in the Rabban the Kisar Mishmei the Rabacha Amar he said, "Lamar Shamar of a Taikin." Right? There's more people blowing. It doesn't mean that we add this additional blows. Rather, there's more people blowing. The Anan Dislan Sheyame and us that we have 2 days, 2 days Yantif, and we don't go ahead and. We have, even though right, there's no karbanos brought, b'chutzars, but now that we have 2 days, what do we do, right, for the tefillah? What do we do to go ahead in remembrance? Right, because the first 2 days of Yantif, day 3, right, is our first day of Chol Moed, so that's not really Yom HaSheni, that's really Yom Shlishi. So you just start from 3, right? So you have Yantif, right, basically Yom Rishon, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Rava Omar Shri, you push off 7 days pushed off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Tani calls it the Rava, you rises for the Rava, in Chal Shabbos, Liyois Be'achamehem, Yimota Yitchem. And if Shabbos comes out on one of them, then you push off the last one. So you see, you push out the last one, obviously you just move it down the line, and the last one gets bumped off over there. And however, Meimar Benardia de Vidalgi Delugi. What did Meimar do? He actually sort of similar to what we do during our Musaf, right? he skipped and went backwards, right? Basically, what he did was that he would do day one, and the next day he would say day two, day three, right? Next day do day three, day four, right? Because it could be either, depends which day. If it was for the original date, it's really day three, but if Yom Rishon is really on day two, then it's only day two, and therefore he would basically do 2 days double, similar to what we do during our Musaf in Chusars. Fine. Nine Mishnah. Mishnah says, Nun Hey Beis Yom Tov Rishon Shachag Hoyu Sham Yud Gimel Parim. Right? We mentioned these before. On the first day of Sukkot, there were 13 bull offerings. Elim Shnayim, 2 rams, the Seir Echad, and 1 he-goat. And the Nishtaro Sham Yud Dalet Kvasim. After that, there were 14 lambs, the Shmona Mishmaros, for the 8 remaining Mishmaros. Now, let's explain how they were. Let's work backwards, right? So they had the Kohanim were divided up into 24 Mishmaros, right? 24 Mishmaros, and basically they took turns in order. Everyone throughout the year, and on Yom Tov, they all come together, and each one would take a turn. So now there's a lot of offerings here. So so each day, the day one, they started with 13, 1 and 2, right? 13, 1 and 2, plus 14, right? 13 bulls, right? 2 rams, 1 goat, 14 lambs. Now, so let's see over here. The Shona Mishmaros. And then, so basically, each animal, the 2 parim, everyone would get an animal, right? Of the first group of 3, right? Now, of the parim, Elim, and Seir, that would always be to 1 mishmar. Okay, so on day 1, there's 16 of them, right? So there's 16. 24 minus 16 is 8. So there's 8 mishmaros left to do the 14. Those are going to be the ones that always divide with the levels. So so to take care of those 14, and you only have 8 groups left. So 6 of them did 2 apiece. That's 12, and the other 2 each did 1. B'sheni. Now on the second day, you're going to go down 1, right? I'm not going to do all the math, but I'm just going to go here and give an example. On day 2, so now there's 12, 1 and 2, which is 15. That means there are 9 people to take care of the last 14. So how do they do that? B'sheni, chamisha makrivin shnaim. So you of the 9, 5 of them do doubles. That's 10, right? Each 5 of them do 2. Bashar, there's 4 left. Echad. 10 plus 4 equals 14, right? So the math works. And b'shlishi on day 3, dalad makrivin shnaim. 4 people do 2 and 2. Bashar, and the other 6 would do shar echad, each one do 1. The Revi, shloisha makrivin. Then on the day 7, day 4, I don't know where it's coming from, right? Day 4, 3 groups would do 2 apiece, so you had 6. Bashar on the other 8, echad would each do 1. B'chamisha on the 5th day, shnayim makrivin shnayim. 2 people would do each. 2 groups would each do 4, right? Or 2 apiece. They have 10 left. And the other 10, Bashar echad v'echad, b'shishi echad makriv, 1 will only do 2, Shnai Bashar echad was 1, and B'shvi on the last day, right? The last day there were 7, 1 and 2, so that means there were 10 mishmaros that took care of the par, Elim, and the Seir. So the other 14, and B'shvi Kulan Shavin, everyone does 1 keves. Now, B'shmini on Shmini Atzeres day 8, Chazlu Alapais Kabir Galam. They would go back and do a lottery, just like all the other holidays, i.e. Pesach and Shavuos. And Amru, they said, Misha Hikri Parim Hayayim Lo Yaakov Lamachar Ela Chayzin Chali. Whoever did a bull today, bull was the most chashuv. Whichever group did a bull today does not get to my go in order. So actually, there's a very good footnote here, footnote 8. Look at footnote 8. It shows very clearly. I'll just speak it out because we'll get to a little in Gemara. So we said there's 13 bulls on the first day, then 12. So they always took turns, right? So if they were the mishmaros were numbered 1 through 24, so on day 1 you would have 1, 2, 13 would do it. Day 2, which was 12, it would be 14 through 24 and 1. Then you restart again like in a circle. Day 3, there was 11 left, right? It would go 2 through 12, right? And the next day they would start at 13 till the end, and then whatever's left over, they start at 1. So you keep going around, which almost everybody got 3 full turns. The way it works out is 24 times 3 is 72. There were 70.
7.
All right, so there's 70. So basically, everybody got 3 turns to do a bull, except for 2 groups. I guess groups 23 and 24, they did not.
What was the what's the board in doing one of the parts? More meat on it? Or?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I mean, we'll see the number of bulls were symbolic, as the Gemara will point out. So maybe since it's symbolic, there's more chashivas. The other ones are always, fixed amount, 1, 2, 14. So yeah. So Zak the Gemara. So name of Masis and Rebbe. Let's say our Mishnah is Rebbe. He velo Rabbanan, another Rabbanan. The Tanya lived in a brayse. So par haba b'shmini betchila mepaisin alav. Divi Rebbe. Rebbe says the bull, they used to go ahead, the last one in Yom Shmini says they would have a lottery. No, no, one of the groups 23 or 24 that didn't get a chance to do 3 times, one of them would do the bull. So our Mishnah seems to go like Rebbe, because Rebbe says you do a lottery, right, for all 24. So the Gemara says, no, if you take a rabbanan, right? But even if you have the last 2, you still need a lottery, right? Paper, scissors, rocks, or whatever they're going to do to decide between the 2 groups, right? So therefore, that you can still call that sapayis. So come on, also Hadatani. What about this brayse? So who does this go like? Hadatani in a brayse? Call mishmaros shaynais. All mishmaros do 2 times mishamash or mishashlos and do it 3 times. They do 3 bull offerings. Chutz mishtei mishmaros shishonos ve'ein mishashlos. Except for 2 groups that only repeated to do a bull and did not do it 3 times. So name it Rebbe, velo Rabbanan. Let's say it's like Rebbe and not the Rabbanan, right? Because according to the Rabbanan, right, they say that one of them did repeat it. So afilu tema Rabbanan, my lo shilshu. What does it mean they didn't do it 3 times? The pariachag. No, it's even because according to them, right, according to Rabbanan, right, there would actually be 23 groups that did a bull. Only 1 group would end up, whichever one of the 2 groups that end up doing Shemini Atzeres, they would end up with 2. So the Rabbanan say, no, even according to Rabbanan, 2 groups did not do 3 bulls, but now which bulls are talking about? I'm talking about the bulls of Sukkot and not talking about the bulls of Shemini Atzeres. Well, my Kamashmalon, I was going to teach you, Kamashmalon, Mishi, part of my Yoy, Yaakov the Machar, Elachais and Fleas. Come to teach you that whoever did do a bull yesterday, right, they will do one tomorrow, and it goes in an order, excuse me. Omar Rebbe Elazar, says Rebbe Elazar, Hani Shivim Parim Keneged me, right? It's famous Gemara, right? These 70 bulls, who is Keneged me? Keneged Shivim Bumos, right? Keneged the 70 nations of the world, and Parachidi, and then the 1. So it goes to basically do 70 over the 7 days of Sukkot. And Shmini Atzeres to do 1 Parachidi, Lama, Keneged, Uma Yechida, 1 nation, the nation of the Israelites. And Mashal Melech Basar Adam is comparable to a king of flesh and blood. Basar Adam Shamar Avadam. He says it was his servants. Asa Li Suda Gedayla. Every day, make for you a big meal. And on the last day, Amar Loavo, he tells it to his close, his inner circle. Asa Li Suda Katana. Make for me a small Suda Kadei Shava Minchas. In other words, we could be together, and I could show you my love. And Amar Rabbi Yechanan, right? What was it to the other nations, to the other chavim, that they lost? They don't even know what they lost. There's just Kayim when the base nature was around, even though they destroyed it. Mizbeach mechaper aleim, because the mizbeach would be mechaper for them. Right? Because there were 70 bulls brought for the 70 nations, so there was kabbalah brought on their behalf. But now there is no kapara for them. Mishnah says, "B'shleisha prakim b'shana hayu kol mishmaros Shabbos." During 3 times of the year, the 3 when they would come together, they were all the mishmaros were during Shlosh Regalim. They were equal be'emurei harigalim. Right, emurei normally means limbs. Right, limbs are normally burnt in the mizbech, but over here is referring to all the fast matanos that come from the karbanos, the shlamim, the different karbanos that are brought. The chazav, the shog. Right, chagiga. So, yeah, that was the Kohanim were right. That was their service. They were divided into the groups. Over chiluk, So they would all divide, right? They would divide the Emor HaRegalim for the Regalim, V'chiluk Lechem upon him, and they'd also divide the Lechem upon him, right? Every week there was the Lechem upon him, the bread that was put on the week, and it would last throughout the week. They would remove it and put on the new one the next Shabbos, and they would take the old bread, which would still be fresh, and they would divide it amongst the Mishmaros and Be'atzeres and Atzeres when there is additional loaves, i.e. the 2 loaves that are brought on Shavuos. So Amarlo, hey lech matzah. Some say, hey, here is your matzah, referring to the lechem. The lechem upon him is actually matzah, right? And the halach, and you guys take your chametz. You take your chametz, which was leavened bread, right? That was the shtei lechem of Shavuos. And mishmar shizmana kavua. And if the holiday turned out during one of the weeks, so it's normally one of the weeks of one of the groups, right? So mishmar shizmana kavua. Who makri tamidim? They're the ones who offer the tamidim, nadarim and nadavos, or people bring their other nadarim and nadavos, b'shar kol kabanos, sibur other sibur, who makriv es hakol, and they offer those. Now, zok the Gemara, Emor HaRegalim shagavoni. What do you mean Emor HaRegalim? Right? The limbs, right? The limbs are that they belong to those are burnt to mizbeach, as we explained. So Amar Rav Chizda, so Masha Amar HaRegalim. So in other words, that which sha'am, it doesn't mean emurim, right? It comes to the word said, right? That which was commanded. So that which was said regarding the regalim, those are given. So in other words, it doesn't really mean limbs, right? Comes to the word emurim. It comes to the word masha omar, that which was said to be given to the Kohanim, that was divided. And Tana Rabbanan, how do we know that all the mishmaros they divide equally with the limbs of the regalim? Tamaleimar uva v'chol avos nafsho v'sharis. Who comes with whoever desires to come and work. In other words, it's telling you that all the Kohanim who come and work, yachal b'shar yemos hashana. Maybe it could be that line applies to every day of the year. Any Kohen wants to come work in the temple, come work in the temple, come work in the Beis Hamikdash, right? So how do you know only applies to the regalim? Okay, so Tamalayma there it says, "Me'echad sharecha," from one of your gates. V'amarti ela b'shash shekol yisod nichnasin b'shar echad. I want to tell you when Yisod comes b'shar echad, and when do they all come b'shar echad? They all come b'shar echad during the regalim. They all come together at that time. Let's go just a little weiter just to get a little head start. Tomorrow it's a little long, right? So it says bottom line. So it says so turn upon him. How do we know that all the mishmaros are even when it comes to dividing up the lechem upon him, the 12 loaves, right from the shulchan? Tamaleimar, turn the page, top of Nun Vav and Aleph. Tamaleimar, it says chelek kechelek yaychelu. Each one eats their portion. Kechelek avoda kach chelachila, right? And just like they have a portion of avoda, because we said earlier, whoever has a desire to come to work on their golem, so too they can get their achila, so too they're allowed to go eat. My achila, what type of achila? Ilema karbanos. If it just means that they can go ahead and do the avoda, we already said earlier, right? In other words, whoever goes ahead and offers it, it belongs to him. So it's not referring to the karbanos because we already said that they have a chelik in the karbanos. Ella lechem upon it must be referring to lechem upon it. In other words, we know that the karbanos, since they all can work the karbanos, they all divide the karbanos and the meats and the other stuff that comes from it. But how do you know they divide the bread? So therefore it says, for this passage, referring to lechem upon it. Maybe thinks, you know what? Since we're all allowed to come now, maybe all the nadarim and nadavos, other karbanos that people are bringing now, because everyone happens to be Yerushalayim, we can also divide that. Tamaleimar. Therefore, it says over there, levad. So the pasuk says, levad mimkarov ala avos, right? Except that which was decided or dealt with by the avos, by the earlier kohanim. It was ma macho avos zeh. They already made a deal, right? They said they already made a deal years earlier that the Kohanim, you get your week, and we'll get all of the Darman and Davos for that week, and then I'll get my week, and so on and so forth, and therefore they divide equally, and therefore some people would be lucky, right? That it'll come out during that day, right? And other people wouldn't be as lucky because they didn't have, during the Shlosh Regalim didn't fall out during their week, and usually during the Shlosh Regalim there were a lot of karbanos brought that, but nevertheless they made a deal that anything that comes that's outside of the Shlosh Regalim, that belongs to the Mishmar who worked that week. All right, we'll stop here at the 2 dots. Shkoyach, everybody.
You said it was originally set up in